It's a question each of us have been asked at one time or another. If you could have any 4 dinner guests at a party, who would it be? Well, today we're going to work on my 4 dinner guests. 32 people at a time. This is the ultimate dinner party, fantasy edition. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Dialogue with Richard Howk. I am Richard Howk, and today we're going to start the special series that I've been wanting to do for such a long time. It's the Ultimate Dinner Party Fantasy Edition. What I'm going to do is, instead of concentrating on 4 guests, I don't know exactly who my 4 guests are. So I really started off with 120 different people, characters from movies, television, fantasy, comic books, animation, and I started off with those and narrowed it down to a bracket of 32, which you see here. Now, each of these I decided I grouped them, and it was tough to get down to just 32 from starting from 120. So we're already pretty far down the rabbit hole, but I narrowed it into how they kind of fit in the bracket. So I started with fantasy characters. So to fit them all in, I went through and I had to move some categories around. So like I have animation / movies is in one category, and then I had television and then comic book. So anyway, that's how I started down to the 32. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna take these one by one and follow them all the way down till I have my 4 best fantasy dinner guests. And I'm gonna judge them by different criteria like their personality, their conversation ability, relatability to me, their social skills amongst a group and anything like that. The next criteria is appearance. Because we don't want any scruffy-headed nerf herders in here. And the next category is temperament. I really don't want anybody getting triggered right in the middle of the dinner and going off and we have a big fight, which wouldn't be good. And the final category is intangibles. What makes this character special? What do they bring to the table, literally, that nobody else does? And I think with those categories, I'll be able to narrow it down and go match by match and bring it down to my final 4 guests. I think it's going to be a fun time. It'll be interesting, and we'll have some weird pairings. It's fantastic. And the first matchup we're going to get to is Harry Potter from the Harry Potter series and Gandalf from the Lord of the Rings series. We're going to match them up and see who would be the better dinner guest by these criteria that we've set forth. And before we get started with Harry versus Gandalf, I want to talk about who I'm partnering with to bring you this awesome series, and that's Ogma Creative Media. Ogma is a mid-level publisher of books and magazines who bring their characters to life through their stable of creative and talented authors. So I thought there was no better choice to help bring this dinner party to life than Ogma. Each episode will feature an author or a book from Ogma that I highly recommend. So with that in mind, let's just jump right into it and have Harry Potter versus Gandalf.
Round 1, fight!
The first category I want to talk about with them is personality. Gandalf is laid back as fuck. He is chill. It might have something to do with whatever's in his pipe, but the brother's chill. And so he does, other than 1 or 2 times, he doesn't get upset at anything. With Harry, it's hard to tell his true personality all the time because in the books he's put under pressure from the beginning. But I think the times we see his true personality is when he's just kind of hanging out with the Weasleys at their place, or when he goes to the Quidditch World Cup. You see that he's just a boy, and he just wants to experience things. He has his favorite Quidditch players. He's just like you and me, and I think that's hard to judge, but as relative to me, I tend to like the laid-back personalities. That's how I am, so I'm going to have to give this win to Gandalf. The next battle comes in conversation. And this actually might be a little unfair to compare Gandalf, who's over 2,000 years old, to Harry Potter, who in the books was, between 11 and 17. They're not going to have the same amount of stories. Yes, Harry Potter's were fantastic stories that growing up. Gandalf's probably just going to have more of them, so I'm going to have to give another win to Gandalf in this one. The next category is relatability. And I think this one might be as one-sided as the last category was as far as conversation. Because Harry Potter, I may not be able to relate to all the wizarding stuff that, he would go through or anything like that. But at least we still live on the same planet. I feel like relatability with Gandalf would be just about impossible. We wouldn't have any frame of reference for anything that we were talking about. The stories might be interesting and everything like that, but I don't know that I could really empathize or be sympathetic with some of the plight of them. So Harry makes his first strike in this category. The next battle is sociable. How are they with around people? And this one might be a little bit Harry too, because Gandalf's kind of a loner. And then but Harry Potter has always got people around him. At least, if he's not with a bunch of people, he's with his two core friends. So he's always got camaraderie. Whereas Gandalf seems to win he enjoys being with the hobbits and stuff like that, but he also he just travels alone and he's kind of a loner. So I think you got to give this one to Harry too. Appearance. Now this might be a little bit unfair because Gandalf comes from a world without our modern conveniences. They probably don't shower every day. They probably don't go through grooming techniques. You can look at his beard, and you probably don't want beard hair in your lasagna. So Harry's gonna win this one too, but it's almost by default. When it comes to temperament, I think Gandalf's gonna win this one pretty handily. Harry Potter, it's not that he's not pretty level-headed, it's just that he has these moments when he gets so driven on creating the test that maybe he goes off a little bit where he shouldn't. And he would, there were sometimes he would yell at Ron and Hermione for really no reason. He was just frustrated and stuff like that. So that, I think we kind of got to go with Gandalf again. According to my calculations, that's got us tied up at 3-3 with making intangibles the determining factor. And I think where I want to go with this, Harry Potter is the hero of his story, whereas Gandalf is a character in Frodo's story. I think I want to go with the person whose it's about, and I want to hear firsthand what it was like to be Harry Potter. And so Harry Potter will take this first match.
Finish him!
So our first match turned out really great. It was really close. They were two evenly matched characters. I really like them a lot. I just probably lean a little bit more towards Harry, and that kind of showed in the results. So taking a look at the bracket, Harry Potter's going to move on to face the winner of Doctor Who versus Katniss Everdeen in the next round, and we'll find out who wins that one later on. I hope you've enjoyed our first match in the Ultimate Dinner Party Fantasy Edition. I think this is going to be it's going to be a fun thing to do, and I'm really looking forward to doing future episodes. So if you like this, please like, subscribe. I need all the subscribers I can get. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you agree with me? Do you think Harry's a better dinner guest than Gandalf, or vice versa? You let me know, and I'd really like to continue that discussion in the comments below. But that's all I have for today. This is the first one, and as always, I've been Richard Howk. I'm still Richard Howk. Thanks for watching.